Welcome to the Flight Club Podcast, a woman's guide to leaning out. We give you a behind-the-scenes look at business launch and growth through the stories of successful female entrepreneurs. Here's your host, Felina Hansen, founder and CEO of Hera Hub.
Hello and welcome. I'm excited to share my conversation today with Nicole Hagaman. She has been partnering with high-performing companies and developing effective ways to support their overall business goals through marketing for over 20 years. Just like myself, she's passionate about marketing. She specializes in creating and implementing successful marketing campaigns that meet, of course, specific business objectives. And with experience across a diverse number of industries, she creates marketing strategies that drive awareness and, of course, spur growth. She does hold an MBA in entrepreneurship and is passionate about helping companies create a strategic roadmap for their success. Welcome to the show today, Nicole.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Awesome. Well, let's dive in. I want to learn the backstory behind Nicole. And obviously, we'll get into that point where you decided to jump off the cliff and start your own business. So take us back. Yeah, where are you from? Talk a bit about education, and then we'll wind through your career path.
Okay. Well, I grew up in Carlsbad, California, where I ended up today, which is kind of coming full circle, I guess. I went to college up in the Bay Area and worked up there for my first job, which was working for a manufacturing company. I worked for them for about 3 years and decided I wanted to migrate back down to Southern California and came down to work for another manufacturing company. While I was there, it became kind of apparent to me now that, I was in my second job out of college and I was often the only female in a boardroom with a lot of older men. It became apparent that I needed to bolster my credibility and kind of reinforce the fact that I knew what I was talking about in these environments. And so I decided to go back to school and get a graduate degree. That's when I went to school and got a master's in business administration with an emphasis in entrepreneurship. And I really realized that I enjoy helping companies that are just starting out, have experienced some success, so they have some money to spend on marketing, but they really need some strategic direction. And that's kind of where I found my sweet spot. So I was going to school full time and I was working full time at that point. And the company that I was working for wasn't doing too well overall. And they ended up laying off about 20% of corporate employees. And so I was part of that layoff, which actually gave me the opportunity to participate and do some internships, which I hadn't had time for before. And I did 4 internships over the last year of my master's degree study. And 2 of those companies ended up hiring me on as a contractor afterwards. And I really enjoyed what I was doing. I was working for these different companies in different industries, focusing on strategy, working with executive teams, and it was fun and challenging. And I thought, hey, if I could do this without even really trying, just doing these internships, and I was able to pick up a couple of clients, what would happen if I actually went out and tried to get clients? I could probably build a business out of this. And so I did. So I had that business for 6 years, doing consulting for a variety of companies in different industries, loved it. And after 6 years, I met my husband during that period of time. We ended up getting married, and he was offered a position up in Orange County. And so we moved up to that area because I had a little more flexibility. But I really didn't want to start all over again from scratch in Orange County, building up that network and those connections. And so I decided to go back to a corporate job, which I did working for a large regional accounting firm, handling marketing for their Orange County office, as well as for their apparel industry group across all 22 offices in the firm. And so I did that for about 6 years. And that really gave me a strong foundation within professional services. I made a lot of contacts there. I enjoyed what I was doing, but after 6 years, I again realized, hey, I need something that's a little bit more flexible. I'd had my son during that time, and he was about a year old when I decided that it just wasn't working for me anymore to work in this corporate environment and to be in the office full time and to commute an hour each way back and forth. It was too much stress and too inflexible for me. So I decided that I was going to go back to consulting again because it seemed to be the right time in my life. So again, I reconnected with one of my previous clients. He was a serial entrepreneur. He had started a company, and I'd worked with him during my first go round doing consulting, and he'd started another firm in the meantime, and they were ready to do some marketing now. So he was my first client after I left the accounting firm. And so again, I wanted to build on that base. And so I went out and actively tried to get some more clients to build my company. And I've been doing that now for about 6 years again. It's been really interesting and challenging and fun. I do really support people developing a strategy and kind of going after what they want. But as I've experienced in my kind of, zigzag path to where I am now, part of being strategic is being flexible and evolving and being able to take advantage of opportunities as they're presented to you, and also figuring out what's going to work for you personally at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. It is such a balance, and it's I don't want to say funny, interesting, whatever word you want to say. I remember when we met a long time ago, because we have very similar paths, not only the fact that we both have backgrounds in marketing, but I also got laid off in 2003 and, went out and hung my shingle as well. So I remember, meeting you out and about at events and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And one day you disappeared to Orange County, and we didn't know what happened. And then you came back.
Exactly. Yeah, something keeps drawing me back.
Yes. Well, I mean, San Diego, and especially North County, and especially, obviously, you're from there. So, let's talk a little bit about, you're doing some like fractional CMO work. You're working for a few different groups. What is that? Talk about, because you've woven in and out of this consulting career for a number of years now. For somebody who maybe just got their layoff notice yesterday and they're thinking, okay, how do I make this happen? Talk a little bit more about some of those relationships. I know you were able to kind of build some of those relationships right away. But what else has been beneficial to you in building relationships with companies, whether it's for contract work or client work?
Well, for me, networking has been key. And things are very different today than they were when I was going out trying to get new clients, both times, because of social media is at a very different place, and also because of COVID, of course, right now. Right now, I would advise people who just got the layoff notice, how do you want to position yourself? How can you build your brand on social media? How can you network when you can't go to networking events in person? Figuring out who you want to be, how you want to present yourself, who your target market is, and how to approach them, I think is key right now. But you have the opportunity to do all of those things via social media. And do some outreach that way as well, because there aren't in-person networking events, taking advantage of different associations that are kind of starting to do some innovative things as far as offering some networking prior to like a webinar, doing some small group breakout sessions so that you can develop more of those one-on-one relationships, I think is very important.
Absolutely. And with that, are there any specific organizations that you recommend, for folks to look at? And are there any specific platforms? You say social media. We know that means a lot of things. What specific platforms are the best?
It really depends who you're going after. You know, if your target market is going to be the end user, that's very different than if your target market is going to be managing partners of accounting firms, like I have gone after quite a bit. I think that different groups, you know, will appeal to different demographics. Like, for example, I just saw an event invitation for MIT Forum, and they're introducing a networking period of time, a half hour before their event is presented online. And so for some people, that would be an avenue. There's, you know, the Association of Corporate Growth is another one for corporate kind of target. When I was in Orange County and I started working for the accounting firm, there's an association for accounting marketing, but they didn't have a chapter in Orange County. And I was new to this industry, and I didn't, you know, I wanted to network with other people who had been in the industry and to learn from them and to talk to them about different challenges I was experiencing. So I created my own networking group, actually. I partnered with my contact at the Orange County Business Journal, and she knew a lot of people in this space because she handled accounting for marketing. And so she would invite them to these events, and we would get together once a month for networking and kind of best practices sharing. That's where I made some great contacts that I still am in touch with today and who have led to business for me.
Makes sense. And I love that you brought that up, Nicole. It's kind of this idea of, you know, if you don't see it, go create it, right? And kind of lead,
Yes.
Don't sell is the one way I like to put it. And it sounds like you were definitely doing that.
Absolutely. And I was doing that, sorry to interrupt, I was doing that even prior to thinking I was going to go back to consulting. You know, I didn't have kind of this end goal, this selling mindset. I had this relationship building mindset. And I think that is key.
Yes, absolutely. So Nicole, let's get into your business in a little more detail. I know that you work with a lot of folks in accounting firms. What exactly do you do for them?
Well, I have one accounting firm that I am their fractional chief marketing officer. So I head up marketing for the firm. They're kind of a size where they're big enough to have a marketing budget. They're not big enough to have a full-time, even the need or the budget for a full-time marketing person. And so I work with the managing partner and the other two partners to develop a marketing plan for the year, manage all of their outreach. I coach their people on business development skills, like how to optimize their LinkedIn profiles and how to approach networking events. And you would kind of do some role playing, you know, if you're at a networking event, what would you say? Which maybe isn't happening now, but it will happen again at some point in the hopefully near future. I work with other organizations as a member of their team. So, for example, I work with a marketing firm, and I'm one of their senior consultants. And so I'm part of the team when they go after new business. And I might work on, you know, I'll work on the clients that I'm going after under their kind of umbrella. So I'm very flexible with how I work with different people, depending on what the need is and you know, what the relationship is.
Perfect. Awesome. So let's talk about the future here a bit, just in general in marketing. So you're in the business to business space, and to your point, if somebody's selling directly to consumers, their tactics are going to be entirely different. But so let's stay on the business to business space specifically. What trends are you seeing, Nicole? You know, when you look at 2021, 2022, you know, what are some of the new things that people are using? And of course, you know, again, COVID and things have changed. that comes into play as well. Either new tactics, new platforms, that type of thing.
Well, I'm seeing a lot of my clients are much more open to doing video. I think for some people, you know, there's this self-consciousness that can come about when it comes to creating a video for your own business, or even about something that you're very knowledgeable about, you know, an accounting topic, for example. People don't always want to be in front of the camera, but because we can't get out there and network, I'm finding that people are much more open to creating videos as a marketing tool, to participating on webinars, even where maybe before they weren't, I'm too busy, I don't have time for that. They're making time for those kinds of things. I'm working with some people on developing a remote video kit so that they can set it up themselves. We don't have to send a crew to their office. And so it makes it easy for them to do a client testimonial or an about us video, or even just talk about, hey, this is what this article that I'm posting is about, a short little blurb. They're more open to experimenting, I guess, with different things. I definitely see that happening right now.
Yeah, video is so important, to your point, especially since we aren't getting into those face-to-face networking events now, which again, a lot of folks in professional services would rely on heavily to network with, colleagues, partners, clients, that type of thing. It definitely is it's a whole new frontier. And as you said, I meet a lot of folks too that are like, I hate myself on video. I'm like, some good lighting, the right angle, you feel a lot better.
Exactly. And just having somebody, I think, help them with like, here's the light, here's the background, here's your script. You don't need to memorize it. I'll ask you questions. You just respond and we'll edit me out. It's like a conversation. You can make it seem much less intimidating by just giving them all of those tools so they feel more prepared, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. One platform that is intriguing me right now, and this I think plays well in the B2B space, it could be B2C too, of course, is Clubhouse. So have you been on the platform, heard of it, played with it at all yet?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, so it's pretty darn new. It's only on iPhone. Think of it like almost like a call-in radio station, like old school type of thing. So it's audio only, and people set up rooms and they have conversations around particular topics, and people can join and ask to be kind of promoted to, ask a question or chime in or things of that nature. It's a really interesting platform. I've seen Gary V, our marketing friend, Gary Vaynerchuk, use it a lot. And for me, when I see him jumping on something, I usually think, okay, this guy's pretty smart when it relates to marketing. There must be something there. So I'm going to be playing around with that over the next couple weeks. And I think that might be an interesting platform. I don't know if CPAs are going to be ready to jump into it, because it's a bit different. Again, it's audio only chat. And there's, you set up like a 1 hour conversation about, best practices in marketing, and then, invite people to join you, either to listen in or ask questions, like a Q&A kind of thing. So perhaps something to look out for, at if you're an iPhone user, the Clubhouse app is something that it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in 2021.
Yeah, I'll definitely look into that.
Yeah,
it's
all kinds of things.
Because because the accounting firms are probably the second most traditional business. Law firms and accounting firms, both of whom I work with, are very, very traditional and slow to embrace new ideas and new technology. So, something that might be not as cutting edge is something that they're video has been around for a very long time. They're just starting to embrace it typically.
Well, I wouldn't throw Clubhouse on them quite straight away, but you might enjoy, just understanding it for your own.
Well, I'll definitely look into it. Yeah.
I love it. Awesome. I'm sure you're not recommending Snapchat for them, of course.
No, definitely not.
Wrong market. No. Awesome. Well, Nicole, what are some of the things that you're working on here in 2021? What are some of the things you're excited about?
Well, I'm excited about hopefully things kind of changing and getting more back to normal, for one, once the COVID vaccine rolls out. And two, I'm excited about new opportunities that are coming up, some things that have changed a lot due to COVID. I think that has created a lot of opportunity for people. For me personally, I'm in discussions to acquire another marketing agency that's been around for about 30 years in San Diego. And so that's something that's very exciting that's on the horizon for me. I'll be able to expand my team and resources and service offering quite significantly when that happens. So I'm looking forward to that.
Exciting stuff. Yes, 2021. Come on, it's gonna be good.
Yes,
we gotta.
It's gotta be good.
I talked to so many people who were just like, once that calendar flipped over, I was like, okay, we got this. Come on. All learning and growing. So all good.
That's right.
Well, Nicole, if our listeners want to get in touch with you and your company, Strategic Solutions, what's the best way for them to do that?
Oh, just look me up on LinkedIn, send me a message. I'm happy to talk to anybody if you have some ideas or looking for opportunities, want some advice, or possibly, to lead the business down the road.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time, Nicole.
You're very welcome. Thanks for talking to me.
Thank you for joining this week's episode of Flight Club, sponsored by Hera Hub. We look forward to sharing more success stories with you soon.